Hey guys, this is Rainy from R&Y Garage and welcome to another episode of Sundays with Rainy here at R&Y Garage in Phnom Penh. Wish you all a happy Sunday. Thanks for popping in and following us weekly. Guys, we are proceeding. We showed you last week the video of the frame and all the other work we did. When you look down here, this is hundreds of small little parts which we still need to clean. This we will do in the next week, but also I proceeded here with the engine and the transmission and transfer case to assemble that. We will give you a little bit of view into the transfer case, how this is working, but also I brushed the engine for days. I told you that. We put the primer on. I kept that during my time here in the vacation. I kept it like that and I painted it in two colors. We didn't dismantle the block from the cylinder head, so we had to cheat a little bit here with masking tape. But I think in general a red engine block is always coming out nice. So shortly what we did before we painted everything, I serviced the camshaft, all the tappets here. I serviced the valve shimming and replaced all the shims which were off. And that's all what we want to do on the engine. We didn't want to dismantle the block again from the cylinder head, because we don't want to create any havoc here with the cylinder head gasket. So we kept that together. The only thing what we do later on is putting that on a engine stand, and from there we're going to take off the girdle or the second part of the crankshaft down here, separating that one more time and checking for the main bearings, crankshaft bearings and conrod bearings, and then basically we will put everything back together, and I will show you in a little time lapse how we assemble that thing back together in its original conditions. But first we had to clean some more parts by sandblasting and painting them to give them a nice appearance. We are preparing all the timing case parts on the table for installation, and there are some more parts like pulleys, pens and gaskets and fuel lines and some more parts. And on the end, the freshly galvanized bolts properly packed and organized. After removing all the masking tape, now it's time to start and install the timing case rear plate, but first we need to put on some RTV for a proper sealing between the engine and the timing case plate. And for sure, we will tighten up all the bolts to the right specs with a torque wrench to a value of 23 Newton meter. The next step is installing the timing gears corresponding with each other. The oil pump gear, the crankshaft timing gear, the idler gear and the injector pump gear. And now we are ready to close the timing case, but first we gotta clean out the sealing, install a brand new seal for the crankshaft pulley as well as for the injector pump pulley. And the last step is a sweet layer of RTV into the sealing groove of the cover. It is just a pleasure to install all these parts with brand new galvanized bolts. Everything goes smoothly. We tied up all the fasteners in a crisscross pattern. And the final step of torquing all the bolts down to the right specs is done. Our next step now is installing the water pump with a brand new gasket and torquing that down to specs. To complete the timing gear, we have to install our timing belt pulley and torquing it down to the specifications given in the workshop manual. But some of you might see already that I forgot to put the bolt in for the injector pump, so we will do it again. This is the crankshaft pulley, which needs to get exactly aligned with the woodruff key inside the crankshaft. Popping out that woodruff key could lead to fatal damage, so we have to be extra careful. On top of the crankshaft pulley goes the AC pulley, which is also a harmonic balancer. Harmonic balancer are there to take out the vibration of the engine while it is at idle. Next step is the vacuum pump. This pump is there to produce vacuum for our brake booster and other elements like AC control solenoids. From the opposite side we installed the power steering pump already, and all the power steering fluid lines will be installed with new O-rings and copper gaskets. Since it is difficult to remember which bolt goes where, I'm using another oil cooler unit as a sample and install all the little bits and pieces in the right order. Last step is to put back the oil cooler before we can install this unit with a fresh gasket on the engine. The gasket surface is clean and ready for the oil cooler unit. Carefully I'm tightening them in a crisscross pattern first before I torque all the bolts to specs and we are ready to go to the next job. It's time to install the injectors, one by one, in the exact order they were on before. Tightening them up to specs, it's a must. Last but not least is the injector reflow line with brand new copper washers, installed the way it should be. Time to put the intake manifold back with new gaskets and torquing it down to specs. Reinstalling the fuel lines on the injectors and injector pumps, it's always a challenge. And even though I did it plenty of times, I gotta check again and again in the manual what the firing order was and how the lines got installed back without getting bent or damaged. And yes guys, you see, it's a mess. It's an organized mess. Going to the other side of the engine where the exhaust manifolds is. New gaskets, new bolts, some copper slip on the studs, and we are ready to torque that down.
Oh fuck! Shit!
I just created an additional job. But that's the proof why we use torque wrenches. If the bolt doesn't withstand the required torque, it is just not good and has to be replaced. A quick Haley coil repair job and we are good to go with a new stud and a torquing procedure again. A bit of copper slip and for sure a new gaskets are necessary and we are good to go. To finish the exhaust side, I'm now putting on the brand new CT26 Turbo. It's very important that we are using copper slip on all that bolts since they get very hot and rusty and will be extremely hard to remove in the future. Quickly attach the lower bracket mount and we are done with that job. Now only a few bits and pieces are missing before we continue with the oil pan install. I always set a thin layer of RTV on the pan before I install it and wait for around 20 minutes to have that getting a bit firm, so it will build a kind of cushion in between the two surfaces. After that, we can tighten up the pan with a sufficient torque. Putting in the magnetic drain plug with a new gasket washer and torquing this down to 30 Newton meter, and we are done with this almost last section of the semi-rebuild of the engine. It's time to get the engine off the stand and putting it onto a smaller stand to roll it around the workshop easier. Last but not least, the freshly silver painted cylinder head cover goes on with a new gasket, and we are finally done. So guys, you've seen that video how we assembled the engine back. We will soon install that back into the frame and progressing continuously to build up that car. So I hope you liked it, and I'm really happy to have you following me on the weekends, watching the videos. Give me some comments about the work, what can be improved, where we are perfect. Nobody is perfect. We have all our weaknesses. We are just humans. So we can just work and improve day by day with the works we are having and just getting better. So I hope you liked it. Thanks for following us and hope to see you next week again. Peace out.